Today we're going to be sharing with you 17 things you need to know when traveling to the Philippines for the first time.
So if you don't know who we are, with Zoe and Zoe, we've actually been traveling the Philippines since 2018.
We're both from the UK, however Czar originally was born and grew up in the Philippines before moving, so we've got a ton of knowledge that we need to share with you.
So first things first, when is the best time to visit the Philippines? So there's actually two seasons. Dry season and wet season. So dry season starts from December to May and wet season from June to November. However,
we've travelled quite a few times in rainy season and honestly it's not affected us too much, but April is the best time.
April is the best time. But it is so hot, so make sure to bring your sunscreen.
And that leads on to point number 2, which is arriving in the Philippines. Now most people from most countries arriving in the Philippines, you'll be given a 30-day free visa. But don't worry, if you want to stay longer, you can extend for a further 29 days. And if you still want to stay longer, guys, you can head to the immigration office and just keep on extending, and you'll need to buy something called an ACR card, but you can do that later on in your trip. You don't need to do it when arriving in the Philippines. And before getting on your flight, you will need to go online and fill out a form called e-travel. It's really quick and easy. If you have forgotten to do it, you will be able to do it right there and then at the airport, but it just makes it so much smoother if you do it beforehand.
So that leads on to point number 3, which is applications for your smartphones. The most important thing that you need to download first is Grab. So this app is equivalent to Uber, and you don't even need to bother about airport taxis because there's actually quite a lot of scams, guys. By using Grab, you know the price and it's hassle-free. You can also order food, shopping, anything you want through the app. Other apps is Food Panda for food, Lalamove for moving things around, and Joyride to get some motorbike taxis, which is a little bit cheaper if you're a solo traveler.
And now on to number 4, and that is staying connected when in the Philippines. The main 2 providers is Globe and Smart. We've actually used both. Everywhere we go, it works. It's really, really good. You can go up to the counters in the airport and you can get them. They're pretty cheap. They'll help you set it all up. But there is a new revelation, guys. So Smart now offer eSIMs, and although we haven't actually done it ourselves, from looking at their promotion, you can get 99 pesos, which is like £1.50. for like lots of data. So actually I really highly recommend looking into that. Other eSIMs, which we haven't used in the Philippines but we've used on all our other travels, is Airalo and Nomad eSIM, and they are super easy. You can buy them and activate them before leaving your home country. You don't need to take your SIM card out, and it just makes everything so easy. When you arrive in that country, you turn it on and you've got data immediately. If you use our codes, you can actually get $3 off on either Nomad or Airalo and save some money.
So on to the next one is number 5. Should you skip Manila? Not gonna lie, guys, Manila, everywhere on the internet it says it is unsafe, but it depends on the location. So we normally stay at BGC or Makati. Walking around BGC during the night by ourselves, we feel much more safer than walking around in London.
BGC has really been made up to be like a space for the people. Like, I've never felt safer than in BGC. It really depends on where you book if you're gonna stay in Manila.
But also, guys, Philippines is known for its islands, so a few nights in Manila to get some rest, to get rid of your jet lag, it's not really that bad. But I would recommend just leaving Manila and go straight to the island if you are short on time.
And that leads on nicely to number 6, which is traveling around the Philippines and getting from place to place, island to island. If you didn't know, there is over 7,000 islands in the Philippines, which is what makes it so beautiful, but it also makes it tricky to get around. Unlike most of Southeast Asia, in the Philippines you are going to have to research a lot more. You are going to have to plan. Now, one thing that you also cannot do, and this is the biggest mistake people make when coming to the Philippines, they don't book their flights. They think that they can turn up and then in a few days decide where they want to go, book their flight and go there. It ends up being 5 times the price it should be. Like, you can get a flight for under £20. If you book it the week of, it'll be £200. The prices spike closer to the times. So you do kind of have to plan where you're going. I would just suggest booking the most popular places. You can still find cheap flights last minute. However, Siargao, El Nido, Coron and Boracay, they are the most popular places, so I highly recommend you book those at least 3 weeks, if not a month in advance. If you get them sorted, the rest of your trip you can leave it flexible if you want. There are also so many other options, and this is something I think people often really don't realize. People go on sleeper buses all around Southeast Asia. They go on trains. They do these long journeys. Philippines has that too. You can get a ferry. You can get buses in the Philippines, 12-hour buses for really cheap, or you can even go on luxury buses for like £20 for 12 hours. There's so many different transport options. Everyone thinks in the Philippines you can only fly, and that's not the case. You can get 18-hour ferry from Coron to Manila. El Nido, you can fly directly into El Nido, very expensive, or you can fly to Puerto Princesa and take a 5-hour shared van. Not as fun, not as convenient, but you can get there cheaply if you want to. And that leads on to local transport.
There's actually tricycles, there's jeepneys, there's shared vans, there's buses. One thing that we always do, because the price varies from different islands, we always double check with the hotels how much we have to pay using the tricycles, the jeepneys, the buses, the multicabs, and they're very helpful, guys. So don't be scared chatting to the locals.
They'll be very happy to make sure that you're paying the right amount as well.
Another option, guys, is renting a motorbike. We never really rent a motorbike if we're in the city. It's only when we're in islands, and we normally pay between 300 to 500 pesos per day. To get a motorbike in the Philippines, all you need is a driving license or your international driving license, and that is valid for 3 months. Any longer than that, you need a Philippines driving license. But make sure you know how to ride first. We've seen lots of tourists falling off their motorbikes, and that leads on to
travel insurance. If you end up in hospital in the Philippines, it can be quite expensive. It's actually a really expensive country for healthcare. If you were to be so unwell or so injured that you need to be admitted to hospital, it can get quite pricey, which is why we recommend everybody to get travel health insurance. And that leads on to the partner of today's video, Safety Wing. The reason we stress the importance of travel health insurance is because we've got first-hand experience of medical emergencies whilst abroad. I had to have surgery to remove my appendix in Tanzania, Africa.
and my shoulder dislocated while surfing in Indonesia.
Luckily, we both had travel insurance, meaning we could focus on getting better and not stress about the cost. We personally recommend Safety Wing as it suits our nomad lifestyle. With Nomad insurance, you can choose any hospital or clinic you want, giving you options and access to the best medical care. You can be covered in over 180 different countries, and if you're a long-term traveler like us, you can use the pay-as-you-go subscription, which you can cancel anytime. And best of all, it covers lost luggage, travel delay, and trip interruption, which is super important for us.
We have peace of mind whilst traveling, knowing that we are in good hands with Safety Wing.
Cover starts from just a few dollars per day, so check out the link in the description box and get insured today with Safety Wing.
So the next tip is number 9, which is accommodations. There are actually a lot of accommodations, from homestays to hostels to hotels to Airbnbs everywhere in the island. However, it can be a little bit pricey comparing to other parts of Southeast Asia. And guys, check Facebook, because Philippines, they love Facebook. They don't use Instagram as much, so they normally post a lot of accommodations on Facebook. So
they have Facebook groups like Siargao Business Classified. So if you're going to Siargao, go on there and you can get really good monthly rates. I think we stayed a whole month in Siargao for 10,000 pesos, which is £150 for a month in a house, and that was through Facebook.
So the main apps that we use whilst booking accommodation is Booking.com, Agoda, and Airbnb.
And that leads on to probably my favorite topic. Number 10 is food. Filipino food is delicious. However, it gets lots of bad reviews from tourists who, in my opinion, don't know what they're eating and don't know where to go.
It's good. Can I get sarap?
So, if you want good Filipino food, you need to head to places like carinderias and local looking places. Think of a warung in Indonesia. The equivalent of a warung is a carinderia, but unless you know what it is, you just don't know what it looks like. Basically, if you see on the side of the road anywhere that's got a load of tables and chairs and some silver dishes lined up at the front, sometimes it's in like a glass counter, that is a carinderia. Especially in popular tourist islands like El Nido, Siargao, they have got some of the best tourist-friendly carinderias that you could ever want. So in Siargao, I'd recommend Cavada, and there's a new one called Doritos, I think. There's also one in El Nido called Mars Grill. One odd thing in the Philippines compared to other Southeast Asian countries is a lot of countries such as Thailand, if you go into a normal restaurant and you get Thai food, it's cheap and the Western food's more expensive. However, if you go into a normal restaurant in the Philippines, it's the opposite. For some reason, the Western food is cheaper than the Filipino food, but that is normally because it's sharing portions. But you can find cheap food on the street and also in these local carinderias.
Another thing to mention when it comes to food in the Philippines is that you need to try all the food with rice. You can't just have a big fish just by itself. You need to have rice with it. You can't just have chicken by itself, you need to have rice with it. You can't have soup by itself. You need rice, because in the Philippines there is a saying that is, rice is life.
Street food in the Philippines is actually pretty safe, guys. We've never been ill. We've tried so much on all different islands, and even me, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how long this has been sat here, but we've never got ill from it.
Number 11, which is recommended food from a Filipino myself. So my favorite bit is adobo, guys. Adobo is like the national food in the Philippines. It's basically like soy sauce. It's like sweet soy sauce actually, guys. So it comes with chicken or pork or mixed, and you normally have it with rice. Another one is sinigang, which is like a bit more of a soury soup, but it's very refreshing. There's somewhere the fried chicken's amazing. Spaghetti, the spaghetti here is completely different. It's like sweet kind of spaghetti. Pancit is also another thing. And my favorite bit in the Philippines is Filipino barbecue. The barbecue here is amazing. It's so good, it's so tasty, it's so cheap. You need to try it, guys. If the food looks weird, just try it. Remember, don't judge a book by its cover until you actually try it.
A few food recommendations from me is also lechon. You need to have lechon, guys. Alfretada, but you don't see it everywhere, but that's really, really nice as well. Caldereta, and do I have any other favorites? Halo halo, that's a dessert.
It's a dessert. Not everything tastes the same because everyone's got their own recipe.
Okay, 12, and this is a topic I hear all the time, which is ice and water, especially in Palawan, because you hear loads of people getting really, really sick. Now, the first thing I want to say, overall across the Philippines, I don't think you need to be worried too much. So Philippines actually offer service water for free in most establishments. Now, I know that sounds so scary, but I'm telling you, most of the time, it's coming out of a blue tub that they have ordered. It's purified water, and it is completely safe. And unless you're in a really, really, really rural place, the locals are not drinking the tap water. They are drinking the water from the blue thing. They are not going to serve you water from the tap.
No.
Like, if they did, I'd be really shocked, because they don't drink that either, unless they're in really remote places. Now, I wouldn't recommend brushing your teeth or drinking the tap water anywhere in the Philippines, but especially in El Nido and Coron, because their tap water, I think, is worse than anywhere else in the Philippines. Now, when it comes to ice, I know people get super scared about ice, but I'm telling you, you can tell by the shape of the ice. If it is almost like a
Cylinder?
Yeah, I can't describe it, but if it's like rounded with a hole in the middle, that is bought ice, and you can tell just from looking at it is bought.
Number 13 is money. Should you get cash out? Should you not? You can literally use your debit card, your credit card anywhere in the Philippines, whether you're in the city or in the island. However, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt having some cash on you. So if you are going to get cash, might as well get that 10,000 pesos max in every transaction, so that you'll only get a fee of 250 pesos once. There's also an e-wallet such as GCash, so if you're staying longer and you've got your ACR card, you can register to have GCash, where you can transfer from bank to GCash and then pay with GCash. It's very easy. Although card is widely accepted, you definitely need cash in hand in some islands. Especially if you're going to get some street food, guys. You can't get street food and pay card. You need cash and some change. You can't just give them 1,000 pesos for a 10 pesos barbecue stick. They won't have the change.
So for everyday expenses other than hotels, you will need a little bit of cash on you. So 14 is budget. Can you travel the Philippines on a budget? Now, in my opinion, the Philippines can be as expensive or as cheap as you make it. But it's nice to get that balance, and Zara and I think we always have a good balance. We try and find good deals, and when we were traveling full-time in the Philippines, if I was to calculate by our month, what we'd spent in a month, and divide that by 30 days, it would normally come between 30 to 35 pounds a day, and that includes all of our flights within the Philippines. We can do 30 to 35 pounds per day, including all of our flights, our food and accommodation. That just shows you can do it too. And you can probably even do it cheaper.
But then again, it depends on how you travel, whether you're on a budget or if you want to travel in a luxury style. So the next point, number 15, is language. Everyone in the Philippines, they understand English, and their English is better than everyone's English. However, you'll probably hear some of the common words such as kamusta, which is how are you, salamat, which is thank you, and magandang umaga, good morning, magandang gabi, good night. Talking to everyone in English is completely fine because they'll just understand you.
You'll also hear pot a lot. Pot is like respect.
Yeah.
So even if you're not confident to say salamat, you can just say thank you pot.
Add it at the end.
Yeah, or you say hello pot. It's a really easy way to just integrate the Tagalog language into your own English and just, you know, immerse yourself into the culture a bit more. Alright, we're near the end, guys, but number 16 is safety in the Philippines. Personally, I don't think I've been anywhere where I felt unsafe. The Philippines is so friendly. The people are so nice. We've had 3 occasions now where we've broken down, once in a car and twice on a motorbike. And it hasn't taken long before someone has come and stopped and helped us. We even tried to give them money a few times for helping us. They wouldn't accept the money because they just want to make sure that you're okay. If you ask for help, they will give it, I'm telling you. Most countries will suggest that you mostly stick to Luzon and Visayas area because they are the safest part of the country. However, Camiguin and Siargao, they are included in Mindanao, but they are also considered like the green zone.
You just need to be vigilant and just look after yourself, really.
Just don't do stupid things like leave your phone on a table and look away and things.
Last but not least is recommendations from ourselves after visiting 33 provinces.
So if we're going to go down the touristy route, and the places that we'd most recommend to a first time traveller, it would 100% be South Cebu, Boracay, but that is very touristy and I wouldn't spend too many days there because it's just the beach basically and a few water activities. Siargao and then Palawan, so El Nido and Coron. They are like, if you're gonna go to the Philippines and they are the only places you can see, like I feel like you have to see them because have you been to the Philippines if you haven't seen them, kind of thing.
And also Bohol, yeah, the chocolate hills.
And
it's
Siquijor.
beautiful, yeah, Siquijor.
And Siquijor too. Honestly, there's so many places. But if you want to get off the beaten path,
check out Camiguin. You can check out Surigao, which is right next to Siargao, so it's only a ferry away. Bantayan Island, we haven't been, but it does look beautiful. Calaguas. South Luzon, which is like Bicol area. If you've got a lot of budget, Batanes or Balabac. We've actually went to Balabac and guys, it's beautiful, but it is just very pricey.
Highly recommend Balabac.
Highly recommend. But guys, there is a lot to see in the Philippines and we haven't even seen half of it. We've been traveling the Philippines for years and I've lived in the Philippines for like, what, 9 years?
But anyway guys, we've come to the end of the video. Hopefully this has helped you prepare for your trip to the Philippines and also help you avoid any unnecessary mistakes that you might make.
And if you've got any questions, don't forget to comment, or you can even check out our other socials, which is Instagram. Just give us a message. Don't be scared. We don't bite. And we'll try and be helpful as much as we can. We can even plan your route if you want.
Yeah, I don't mind giving some suggestions. So yeah guys, consider subscribing and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.